And if I'm not wrong, this is the sixth observer mission to Nigeria's elections. So this dispersed, we are deploying commissioners to almost many places in the country. We cannot cover every place in the country. This is a huge country. We need more people, but we think we have a critical mass that after visiting and observing the elections, the preparedness of the elections, the election on the election day, how the elections are conducted, how the counting has gone on, we have a reasonable impression of how things have come, and then we'll come up with our report after we are ready. First we have the interim report, and then after that we'll prepare the comprehensive report after that. So we thank you for having us here, for the opportunity to visit the Commission. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are all ears to listen to this.
Government of the Republic of Tanzania to help revamp the Tanzania Education Authority so that it can become similar to our Tertiary Education Trust Fund, of which I had the privilege of serving as Executive Secretary. In that capacity, we visited not only Dar, but also traveled all the way to Dodoma and had the privilege of being introduced in Parliament. And I also recall making a presentation in Dodoma in the presence of your Prime Minister and the Minister of Education. So, Your Excellency, it's good to see you once again. And it's also good to know that you are heading this very powerful mission from the Commonwealth of Nations. I'm also happy to note that the Commonwealth is here in all its diversities. Among members of your team, former Deputy Secretary General of the Commonwealth, former Chairman of the Electoral Commission of India, one country that this commission has visited and learned a lot. Welcoming you to Nigeria and welcoming you to the Independent National Electoral Commission. I am grateful to the Commonwealth for accepting our invitation and for deploying such a high-level mission to observe our elections. I must say, Your Excellency, that you are here essentially as guests of the Independent National Electoral Commission Nigeria. We invited you to come and observe the elections, not to monitor. And I'm so happy that the Commonwealth has sent the team that is visiting today. I'm also aware that you are deploying to a number of states in the country across our geopolitical zones. And we always appreciate not just your interim, but also the final report. I recall that in 2015, there was a similar mission from the Commonwealth. And at the end of it all, you submitted a report. We summarized the report of the Commonwealth, the last observer mission. You made 32 recommendations. And you identified institutions that should implement those recommendations. I think about 8 you recommended should be implemented by INEC. We looked at the recommendations. We have implemented those that we could implement administratively, but those that require amendment to the Constitution or amendment to the Electoral Act will have to go through the legislative process. But one very important recommendation of the last observer mission was the system of accreditation and voting in Nigeria, where voters will come and be accredited, then they will go back and come back again to vote. The last Commonwealth Observer Mission recommended that we should abolish that archaic system, that as citizens or voters are accredited, they should be able to vote at the same time. And we have implemented this recommendation way back in January 2016 when we conducted one of the governorship elections in this country. Since then, we have conducted 194 off-season elections, and all have been conducted on the basis of simultaneous accreditation and voting, or what we call continuous accreditation and voting. It doesn't require an amendment to the electoral legal framework for the Commission to continue with the system of accreditation and voting. And for that reason, the Commission used its powers under the Electoral Act to make regulations and guidelines. It is now in the regulations for the conduct of the 2019 general elections that the method of voting will be continuous. That is by continuous accreditation and then voting at the polling units by citizens. So I am most grateful to the Commonwealth. We always welcome your observation of how elections are conducted. Your report actually strengthens the Commission in terms of our processes and procedures. I am confident that at the end of your observation this time around, there will be new set of powerful recommendations similar to what you did in 2015. And I want to reassure the international community that we'll always learn lessons from international best practice in ensuring that our elections meet not only our national aspirations, but international best practice. Let me also seize the opportunity of this visit to reassure Nigerian citizens that the elections on the 16th of February and then the other election 2 weeks later on the 2nd of March will be free, fair, and credible. We are committed to these processes. The only thing the Commission derives joy in is in ensuring that the votes count, and only the votes cast by citizens will determine who the leaders of this country are at various levels. So I want to thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President, and through you to very sincerely thank the Commonwealth and your interim reports, and then as usual, thereafter, shortly thereafter, to receive your reports. So I want to thank you, Your Excellency, but before I conclude, I can see, is that Marcella from the Republic of Sierra Leone?